My name is Layla Mansour, and for 3 years my husband turned our home into a prison. The night I passed out from his beating, he rushed me to the emergency room, held my hand and cried to the nurses about how much he loved me. Everyone believed him. I let them. Because I was building something he'd never see coming. Have you ever felt trapped, powerless, or underestimated? This story is for you. What I did next left my husband speechless. If this connects with you, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and drop a comment of where you are watching from. Also share your thoughts about this story. You might be the voice someone else needs to hear. Now let me take you back to where it all began. I'm 34 years old, a software engineer in Munich, Germany. I build security systems for banks, the kind that protect millions of euros. Ironic, isn't it? I could secure vaults but couldn't protect myself in my own home. I met Khalid Rahman when I was 29 at a tech conference in Berlin. He was charming, confident, and worked in pharmaceutical sales. He had this way of making you feel like the only person in the room. When he smiled, his dark eyes crinkled at the corners. When he spoke, people listened. I fell fast and hard. We married within a year. The wedding was beautiful, held at a villa overlooking the Rhine. My parents flew in from Dubai. My mother wore her best abaya, tears streaming down her face as she hugged me. "You've found a good man," she whispered. I believed her. The first 6 months were perfect. Khalid brought me flowers every Friday. We cooked together, his laugh filling our apartment as he teased me about burning the rice. He'd wrap his arms around me from behind while I worked at my laptop, kissing my neck, telling me I was brilliant. Then something shifted. It started small. A comment about my clothes. "That dress is too tight. People will stare." A question about my coworker. "Why does Omar message you so much? What does he want?" I brushed it off. Cultural differences, I told myself. It's just protective. But the protection turned to control. He wanted my phone password. He checked my location constantly. If I was 5 minutes late coming home, his texts would flood in. "Where are you? Answer me. Don't ignore me, Layla." The first time he hit me, we'd been married 11 months. I'd worked late on a security patch that couldn't wait. Critical vulnerability, potential breach. My boss needed it by morning. I texted Khalid, explained the situation. He responded with a thumbs up emoji. I thought we were fine. I got home past midnight. The apartment was dark except for the glow of the TV. Khalid sat on the couch, a beer bottle in his hand. 3 more empties on the coffee table. "You're late," he said, his voice flat. "I texted you. The security patch." "I don't care about your patch." He stood up and something in his posture made my stomach drop. "You embarrassed me. My mother called. Asked why my wife wasn't home. What was I supposed to tell her? That I was working." "Khalid, you knew." The slap came so fast I didn't see it. My cheek exploded in pain. I stumbled backward, hitting the wall, my hand flying to my face. He stared at me, his chest heaving. For 3 seconds neither of us moved. Then his expression crumbled. "Layla, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The beer, the stress at work, I didn't mean." He pulled me into his arms. I stood frozen, my cheek throbbing. He sobbed into my hair, promising it would never happen again. He loved me. He'd never hurt me. It was a mistake. I wanted to believe him. I needed to believe him. But it happened again. And again. A shove here. A grab there. Each time followed by apologies, flowers, promises. He'd book expensive dinners, buy me jewelry, hold me while he cried. "I'm broken, Layla. Help me fix this. Don't give up on me." The worst beating came on a Tuesday night, 3 years into our marriage. I'd been promoted at work. Lead security architect. A massive achievement. My salary jumped to 95,000 euros a year. My team threw me a small celebration. Champagne, cake, congratulations all around. I texted Khalid the good news. He replied, "We'll celebrate at home." I should have known. I walked through the door at 7 p.m., a bottle of wine in one hand, a smile on my face. Khalid sat at the kitchen table, his jaw tight. "You're celebrating without me," he said. "What? No, that was just the team. I wanted to celebrate with you. You think you're so special now. Making more money. Too good for me." "Khalid, that's not." He threw his glass. It shattered against the wall beside my head. I flinched, wine dripping down the paint. "You walk around like you're better than everyone." "Thank you. I never said that." He lunged. His fist caught my ribs. I gasped, the air knocked out of me. I tried to back away but he grabbed my arm, his fingers digging in hard enough to bruise. Another punch, this time to my stomach. I doubled over, pain radiating through my core. Khalid, stop. He shoved me. I hit the floor, my head cracking against the tile. The world spun. I tasted blood. His shoe connected with my side. Once. Twice. I curled into a ball, trying to protect myself, trying to breathe. Then nothing. I woke up in a hospital bed. Fluorescent lights burned my eyes. Machines beeped beside me. My entire body ached, a deep bone-level pain that made me want to disappear. A nurse leaned over me, her face kind. You're awake. Good. How do you feel? What happened? My voice came out as a rasp. You passed out. Your husband brought you in. He was very worried. My husband. I turned my head. Khalid sat in a chair beside the bed, his eyes red-rimmed, his hand reaching for mine. When the nurse looked at him, his expression shifted into perfect concern. Layla, thank God, he whispered. I was so scared. The nurse smiled. He hasn't left your side. You're lucky to have someone who cares so much. Lucky. The doctor came in next. A middle-aged man with glasses and a clipboard. He examined my bruises, my cracked rib, and the mild conclusion. You took quite a fall, he said. A fall. Khalid jumped in, his voice shaking. She tripped on the stairs. I tried to catch her but his voice broke. He covered his face with his hands. I should have been faster. The doctor patted his shoulder. Accidents happen. The important thing is she's going to be okay. I lay there silent, watching my husband perform. The concerned spouse. The devastated partner. And everyone believed him. Because that's what Khalid did. He was a performer. A manipulator. He knew exactly what to say, how to act, which emotions to display. The nurse brought me water. Khalid held the cup to my lips, his touch gentle. Drink. You need to stay hydrated. My heart pounded. Not from fear, though that was there. But from something else. Something cold and calculating is settling into my chest. He thought he'd won. He thought I'd stay silent, play along, keep his secret like I'd done before. But lying in that hospital bed, every part of me aching, watching him lie to medical professionals, I made a decision. I wasn't going to run. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to give him the satisfaction of breaking me completely. I was going to destroy him. They released me 2 days later. Khalid drove me home, his hand on my thigh, squeezing gently. I'm so sorry, Layla. I'll make this right. I promise. I stared out the window, saying nothing. At home he'd cleaned everything. The broken glass, the wine stain. Fresh flowers sat on the counter. He'd made my favorite meal, mansaf, the lamb, tender and perfectly spiced. Sit, he said, pulling out my chair. Let me take care of you. I sat. I ate. I smiled when he needed me to smile. But inside I was planning. The first thing I did was document everything. Every bruise, every cut, every ache. I took photos in the bathroom mirror when Khalid was at work. My phone angled to capture the purple marks on my ribs, the yellowing around my eye, the fingerprints on my arms. I saved them in a hidden folder, password protected, backed up to 3 separate cloud accounts he didn't know existed. Next I started recording. My phone had a voice memo app that could run in the background. I kept it in my pocket during our arguments, during his threats, during his apologies. I captured everything. You're worthless without me, his voice cold and sharp. If you ever leave, I'll make sure no one believes you. You think anyone will care? You're my wife. What happens here stays here. Each recording another nail in his coffin. But I couldn't just collect evidence. I needed a strategy. I needed allies. And most importantly, I needed him to believe nothing had changed. So I played the role he expected. The obedient wife. The grateful survivor of an accident. I cooked his meals. I smiled when his mother called. I went to work, performed my job flawlessly and came home on time. At work, my colleague Aisha noticed something was off. She cornered me in the break room one afternoon, her dark eyes searching mine. Layla, are you okay? You seem different. I forced a laugh. Just tired. Big project. Is everything okay at home? With Khalid. My chest tightened. Aisha was sharp, observant. If anyone would see through me, it was her. Everything's fine, I said, my voice steady. He's been wonderful, actually. Very supportive with the promotion. She didn't look convinced, but she let it go. The truth was I couldn't involve anyone yet. Not until I had everything in place. Not until the trap was perfect. Khalid's violence didn't stop. If anything, my compliance emboldened him. 3 weeks after the hospital, he backhanded me for forgetting to buy his favorite brand of coffee. A month later, he shoved me into the bookshelf because dinner was too salty. Each time I documented it. Photos, recordings, and timestamps. I also started digging into his life. His phone, which he guarded jealously, became my target. I'm a security engineer. Breaking into devices is literally my job. One night while he showered, I cloned his phone data to mine. Text messages, emails, photos, everything. What I found made my blood run cold. He'd been cheating. For over a year. Multiple women. Graphic messages, explicit photos. Hotel receipts. But that wasn't even the worst part. He'd been stealing from his company. Falsifying sales reports, skimming money off client accounts. Small amounts, carefully hidden, but over time it added up to nearly 40,000 euros. I had him. On multiple fronts. But I still wasn't ready to strike. Because revenge isn't just about exposure. It's about timing. It's about making sure when he falls so hard there's no getting back up. I needed a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, but someone who specialized in domestic violence cases. Someone who would believe me, who would fight. I found her through an online forum for abuse survivors. Her name was Fatima Schultz, a German Arab attorney with a reputation for destroying abusive spouses in court. I scheduled a consultation during my lunch break, meeting her at a cafe across town where no one would recognize me. Fatima was in her 40s, sharp-featured, with kind eyes that had seen too much suffering. She listened as I laid out everything. The beatings, the control, the hospital, the evidence I'd collected. "You've done excellent work," she said, reviewing the photos on my laptop. "This is more than enough for a restraining order and criminal charges." "I want more than that," I said, my voice quiet but firm. "I want him ruined." She leaned back, studying me. "Ruined how?" "His job. His reputation. And his freedom." A small smile tugged at her lips. "Then we'll need to be strategic. Build an airtight case. Criminal charges for assault, civil suit for damages, and," she paused, "if there's financial malfeasance we can report that too." "There is," I said. "He's embezzling from his company." Her smile widened. "Even better." We spent the next hour crafting a plan. Fatima would file the legal paperwork, but we'd wait. Let me gather more evidence, strengthen the case, time it perfectly. "How long?" I asked. 2 months. Maybe 3. "Can you survive that?" I thought about the bruises, the fear, the nights I lay awake wondering if this time he'd go too far. "I can survive anything," I said. And I meant it. Those 2 months were the hardest of my life. Khalid's abuse escalated. He sensed something, some shift in me he couldn't quite identify. It made him paranoid, aggressive. One night he grabbed my phone, scrolling through my messages, my apps, searching for proof of something. I'd been careful. Everything was hidden, encrypted, untraceable. "Who are you talking to?" he demanded. "No one. Just work. You can check." He threw my phone at the wall. It cracked but didn't break. "Don't lie to me, Layla." "I'm not lying." He stepped closer, his breath hot on my face. "If I find out you're planning something, if you think you can leave me, I will make your life hell. Do you understand?" I met his eyes. "I understand." He kissed me then, hard and possessive. "Good. Because you're mine. You'll always be mine." I smiled, nodded and played the part. But inside I counted down the days. The turning point came on a rainy Thursday in October. Khalid came home late, drunk, reeking of perfume. He stumbled into the bedroom where I pretended to sleep. "Layla," he slurred, shaking my shoulder. "Wake up." I didn't move. He shook harder. I said, "Wake up." I opened my eyes, keeping my expression neutral. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. I just want to talk." He crawled into bed beside me, his hands sliding under my shirt. I lay still, barely breathing. "You know I love you, right?" he mumbled. "Even when I hurt you. It's because I love you." My stomach turned. "I know." "Good." He kissed my neck, his movements sloppy. "Don't ever forget that." He passed out within minutes, snoring loudly. I waited until I was certain he was unconscious, then slipped out of bed. His phone lay on the nightstand unlocked. I spent the next hour in the bathroom downloading everything. New messages with a woman named Jasmine. Plans to meet her in Frankfurt the following week. More evidence of his theft. Screenshots of altered invoices. Conversations with a colleague about covering their tracks. It was perfect. More than I'd hoped for. The next morning I called Fatima from work. I have everything. I'm ready. Are you sure? She asked. Once we start this, there's no going back. I thought about the hospital. The lies. The bruises that had become my normal. The fear that had become my constant companion. I'm sure. Then let's begin. Fatima filed the paperwork that afternoon. A restraining order based on documented abuse. Criminal charges for assault causing bodily harm. A civil suit for damages, medical expenses, and emotional distress. But we didn't serve him immediately. First, I needed to move out. Safely. Without him knowing. I arranged everything during my lunch breaks. A new apartment, small but secure, on the other side of Munich. Aisha, who I finally confided in, helped me pack essentials over 3 days. Clothes, documents, my laptop. We moved everything while Khalid was at work. I also contacted his employer. Anonymously, I sent them evidence of his embezzlement. Invoices, messages, account discrepancies. I didn't sign it, didn't identify myself. Just present the facts and let them investigate. The final piece was his mistress, Jasmine. I created a fake social media account and messaged her, posing as another woman Khalid had cheated with. I sent her screenshots of his messages to me, to her, to 2 other women. I destroyed his lies one by one. She responded within an hour. Who is this? Someone who wants you to know the truth about Khalid Rahman. I watched her online status. He was reading everything. Then silence. 20 minutes later, she posted on her public Instagram story. A long message about narcissists and liars with screenshots of Khalid's messages. No names, but anyone who knew him would recognize the details. Perfect. The night before I left, I cooked Khalid his favorite meal. Kapsa with saffron rice and roasted chicken. He ate enthusiastically, praising my cooking, telling me I was the best wife. You've been so good to me lately, he said, reaching for my hand. I think we're in a really good place. I smiled. Me too. That night I slept on the couch. Told him I had a headache. He didn't question it. At 6 a.m. while he slept, I walked out of the apartment for the last time. Aisha waited in her car downstairs. We drove to my new place in silence, the sun rising over Munich, painting the sky in shades of gold. I felt light, free, terrified and powerful. At 9 a.m., a police officer served Khalid the restraining order and assault charges at our old apartment. Fatima had coordinated it perfectly. I wasn't there to see his reaction, but I imagined it. The confusion, the rage, the panic as he realized I'd outsmarted him. He called my phone 47 times that day. I didn't answer. He left voicemails, screaming, threatening, then crying, begging. Layla, please. This is a misunderstanding. We can work this out. Don't do this to me. I love you. Please. I listened to each one. Saved them. Added them to my evidence folder. By noon, his employer had suspended him pending investigation. By evening, Jasmine's Instagram post had been shared dozens of times. People who knew Khalid started commenting, sharing their own stories of his lies and manipulation. The trap had snapped shut. But I wasn't done. The court hearing for the restraining order was set for 2 weeks later. Fatima prepared meticulously. We had photos, recordings, medical records, witness statements from neighbors who'd heard us fighting. Khalid hired a lawyer, an expensive one. He showed up to court in a tailored suit, clean-shaven, playing the role of the misunderstood husband. His lawyer argued I was lying, that I'd fabricated everything because I wanted a divorce and a bigger settlement. Then Fatima played the recordings. Khalid's voice, cold and venomous, filled the courtroom. You're worthless without me. If you ever leave, I'll make sure no one believes you. You think anyone will care? His face went pale. His lawyer shifted uncomfortably. Next, the photos. Bruises on my ribs, my arms, my face. Medical records from the hospital, documenting my injuries. A statement from the ER nurse who'd treated me. The judge, a stern woman in her 60s, looked at Khalid with open disgust. Mr. Rahman, she said, her voice like ice, the evidence presented here is overwhelming. I'm granting the restraining order. You are not to contact Ms. Mansour in any way. Additionally, I'm referring this case to the prosecutor's office for criminal charges. Khalid stood up, his voice desperate. Your Honor, please. Sit down, Mr. Rahman. He sat. The restraining order was granted immediately. 500 meters. If he came near me, he'd be arrested. The criminal trial took 3 months. Khalid's lawyer tried every angle. Character witnesses, his mother, his friends, testified that he was a good man, that I must be exaggerating. But the evidence didn't lie. The prosecution, bolstered by Fatima's work, laid out a timeline. 3 years of escalating abuse. Documented injuries. Recordings of threats. Testimony from Aisha about the bruises she'd seen, the fear in my eyes. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty. Assault causing bodily harm. Guilty. Coercive control. The judge sentenced him to 18 months in prison, suspended to 12 if he completed an anger management program. He was also ordered to pay me 25,000 euros in damages. But the legal victory wasn't the most satisfying part. The most satisfying part was watching his life collapse. His employer fired him after their investigation confirmed embezzlement. They referred the case to authorities and he faced additional charges. Financial fraud. Falsifying documents. The trial for that was still pending, but the evidence was damning. Jasmine, his mistress, went public. She gave an interview to a local news blog about dating a man who turned out to be an abusive, cheating criminal. She didn't name him directly, but everyone knew. The article spread across social media. Khalid's reputation was obliterated. His friends distanced themselves. His family, who'd initially supported him, grew quiet as more evidence emerged. He lost his job, his freedom, his reputation, and everything. Meanwhile, I thrived. I threw myself into work with renewed energy. My promotion meant more responsibility, more complex projects. I led my team through a major security overhaul for a Frankfurt bank, earning praise from executives. 6 months after leaving Khalid, I was offered a position at a tech startup in Berlin. Chief Security Officer. 130,000 euros a year. I accepted. I moved to Berlin, found a beautiful apartment near Kreuzberg, and started rebuilding my life. Aisha visited often. We'd sit on my balcony drinking wine, laughing about things that used to terrify me. You did it, she said one evening, raising her glass. You actually did it. I clinked my glass against hers. I did. Therapy helped. I started seeing a counselor, Dr. Schneider, a patient woman who helped me process the trauma. The fear I'd carried for so long didn't disappear overnight, but slowly, it loosened its grip. I learned to trust again. To feel safe. To believe I deserved better. Dating wasn't on my radar yet. Maybe someday. But for now, I was content being alone, being free, being myself without fear. Khalid tried to contact me once after his release from prison. A letter, forwarded through his lawyer to Fatima. In it he apologized. Said he'd gotten help, that he understood what he'd done wrong. He didn't ask for forgiveness exactly, but his words implied he hoped for it someday. I read the letter once, then shredded it. Some people don't deserve second chances. I thought about that night in the hospital often. How he'd held my hand, played the caring husband, and everyone believed him. How trapped I'd felt, how powerless. But I'd turned that powerlessness into power. I'd used my skills, my intelligence, my patience, and I'd won. Not just in court. Not just financially. I'd won my life back. Looking back now, 2 years later, I'm proud of what I did. Not just for me, but for every woman who's been told she's worthless, who's been hit and then told she deserved it, who's been trapped by someone who claims to love her. I'm not the same Layla who married Khalid. That woman was hopeful, trusting, and naive. This Layla is stronger. Harder, and also freer. I still work in security. The irony isn't lost on me. I protect systems, data, money. But now I also protect myself. Khalid served his time. Last I heard, he was working in a warehouse outside Munich, living with his mother, still dealing with the fraud charges. His life is small now, unremarkable, exactly what he deserves. Mine is big. Full of possibility, of growth, of people who genuinely care about me. I don't hate him anymore. Hate takes energy I don't want to waste. But I don't forgive him either. Some actions are unforgivable. What I did wasn't just revenge. It was justice. It was taking back control from someone who'd stolen it. It was saying loudly and clearly that abuse has consequences. If you're in a situation like I was, please know this. You are not powerless. You are not alone. Document everything. Reach out to people you trust. Build your case no matter how long it takes. And when the moment comes when you're ready, strike with everything you have. Because you deserve better, you deserve safety, respect, and love. You deserve to be free. Thank you for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, please leave a comment below. Share your thoughts, your experiences, or just let me know you were here. Hit that subscribe button for more stories of resilience and justice. Remember, your voice matters. Your story matters. And you are stronger than you know.